Shalom. Kol halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rekaha Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, the tabernacle of David, who are to be the ruling class people, the ruling government here on earth, upon the establishment of the kingdom of heaven, which will be here on earth as it is in heaven. All right, which will make up the 144,000, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, as it is written, which primarily makes up the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, and to the few, and to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing or so-called black thing at all. There's no such thing as black people. The people on the screen are brown. The three people in the middle there, they're not black. His hat is black. No one's skin is that color. All right. And to the few Akwath that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And blackness and whiteness are completely social. The false social constructs that were made up to control and create a false narrative. And the majority of our people can't wake up from it. All right. You know, black this and black success. That's an oxymoron. That's because when you understand what blackness means, it can't be in it. You can't put success, black, in front of success. Can't do it. All right, so I don't want to make this lesson a lesson about the word black, but you would think that people would look it up and learn, but they, instead of scoffing and running their mouths, they don't, But anyway, I've done God knows how many lessons where I've spoken on that, but you get the gist of it. Their mind is almost there. All right, they're waking up to the fact that they know who their enemy are. But one thing about Jake is they don't understand. And I'm talking about even some Jakes that call themselves Israelites, that you can't, this isn't a color thing. The Israelites literally got scattered to the four corners of the earth among all people, including among white people, including among Asians. This chick on this video right here, I've watched a number of her videos. And, I believe this chick actually might be a Jake herself. Okay? She just might be. And I'm going to read two scriptures before I go into the lessons. Lesson within lessons. I'm going to read two quick scriptures because I said it. Because I'm actually going to use this video tomorrow, Lord's will. And we're going to actually go into this video. This on this channel. Okay? But the first one will be Baruch 4. And so three scriptures, two in Baruch. First one is Baruch 4 and 6, and it reads, "You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, because ye moved God to wrath. You were delivered unto your enemy." So the Israelites were literally scattered to the four corners of the earth among all people, and the seed lines are still there. All right. So if you were scattered among pill people like, DJ Trump, over time, some of your people going to look that way. But the seed line, all right? And the same thing with this. I think this chick's name is Amy, if I'm not mistaken. All right? Let's go to Baruch 2 and 30. And it reads, "For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves." See? So we woke up in captivity. We're going to wake up while in captivity among the heathen. All right? So some of us didn't have the luxury of being lumped together with other Israelites, to serve out our punishment. Some of us got scattered to rule different places around the earth among people who look 100% different from us. And over the centuries and over the years, our seed line has mixed with them, but you has mixed with their people, but a seed is always what it is. All right, and that goes over some of you's head. But speaking on Amy here, this is Isaiah 16:4, one of my favorite scriptures, because she's definitely what the Bible would call a Moabite. All right, it had nothing to do with the Moors. All right, oh my God, but she's a Moabite. All right, and the reason we know this is because of scriptures, because of history, because of relics, and because of faith. Because when you look up the Moabite gods and the Ammonite gods, well, guess what? They don't look like the Brown family in the middle. They look like little Miss Amy here, like who if you darkened her skin, all right, and covered her eyes up, she would look kind of like the sister that's next to her. You see? And so anyway, Isaiah, and guess what? I've seen Asian people, in the flesh that are just as dark as those people in the middle there. All right. So, but anyway, Isaiah 16:4, let mine outcast dwell with thee, Moab. Be thou a covert unto them from the face of the spoiler. The spoiler was Esau, Edom, the Edomites. For the extortioner is at an end, the spoiler ceaseth, and the oppressors are consumed out of the land. So basically what this telling you, that the Lord, when that scattering that I read about in scripture, all right, during that slavery and that scattering, a portion of Israel, of Judah, so-called black people, as people were ignorantly say, got scattered among Amy's people. All right. Well, hence the reason why so many of them they got flavor. That Korean R&B, the rapping, the break dancing. They're not mimicking. They really are us. All right. That's why they can do it, because the truth of the matter is that nobody can do what Jake can do. All right. You can't fake Jake. You can't. And people that try to mimic, you can see that they're mimicking. All right. But when you can actually do it, yeah. But let's go to the lesson at hand. That was the lesson within the lesson. This was all through the Spirit. I've been waiting to use these videos. Let me close this door. It's behind me. And the name of this video that you see on the screen is kind of falling right into the category of what I want to talk about, because I got some videos. Let me pull them up. I think one of these is from my cousin. One is from the On the Spot reporter, April O'Neil, which I'm going to pray for the body to pray for her. She's a little under the weather, not feeling well. And then I think one of these may have came from the brother Zahar, who's constantly. But nevertheless, we can really go into this thing. So the first one is this video. We're gonna play it because the truth is coming out, and that's what this guy in this black success thing needs to understand. It's the 12 tribes of Israel, and we're brown. We're from we come in all shapes and colors now because of the scattering. All right. When the Lord talked about the tares, and that's something that a lot of these Israelites don't like to talk about, because there's going to be white people. There's going to be so-called black people, so-called, who got white forefathers, which makes them Edomites. All right. The same way you're going to have a pale guy, you have a so-called white man who will be an actual Negro. All right. For lack of a better, a term for just so you understand what I'm talking about. And you have a guy who's a Negro who's really a so-called white man. All right. And if you've ever been around people like that, and I have, you can kind of, I remember one guy in the Marine Corps, I can't remember his name, but yeah, that was the whitest black man I ever met. And now, all these years later, the truth, I understand. Just like I met some white guys who the blackest white guys that I ever met, Now I'm like, damn, that's what was going on. They were living examples of exactly what I'm talking about. All right, but nevertheless, this guy, this black, this Chronicles of Blacks. All right, and that's another thing, that everybody that's dark chocolate complexion are not the same. Negroes and Africans, Israelites and Africans are not the same people. All of Asia was chocolate and tawny. All right, so everybody's not so-called, everybody's dark is not the same. And people need to come to that understanding. But let me turn this up, and here we go.
They take me as unholy or just not believing the word or whatever, but I believe everything that's in the Bible. And what a lot of people fail to realize is that what's being taught to you in the Bible is bits and pieces, and people don't actually go and read their Bible or get an understanding of their Bible. The Catholics took over, Rome took over Christianity and conformed it. So
reformed would be a better word. Revised
piece of the Bible, and every religion that comes to existence has to go through the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church has made our Jesus white. The Catholic Church has whitened out the Bible and made it not important of who these Hebrew Israelites are.
See, though, you're looking at her, and she said white, and I had to speak on it. Her skin is red. So white people are really red. They're described in the Bible. That's Esau, Edom. All right? And she said something about the Israelites. So let's go back a little bit. God damn it. A little bit more.
Has made our Jesus white. The Catholic Church has whitened out the Bible and made it not important of who these Hebrew Israelites are. The Jews that are in Israel today are not the Hebrew Israelites. The Jews that are over there today are actually the ones that have funded slavery. They run our media. They run our Wall Street. They run everything.
Gotta pause it again. That's becoming a common topic in conversation. I had a Korean woman say that today, damn near word for word, that the J-ish people are not the people of the Bible, and that they control everything. I had a Korean woman say that to me today.
Music. They run music. They run all of it. Jewish name is on everything that controls our country.
Yep.
And people just, they don't look at what the prophecy has said. They don't look at what Revelation says. It says that the people in Israel will claim that they're Israelites, and they're not. Psalms 83 talks about the different nations that would cut off Israel as a nation. And we all have been brought up to think that the white race is superior because of that. We have been brought up to serve a white God, a white Jesus. And that's not the way that it is. When Jerusalem was overtaken by Assyria, the tribe of Judah went into hiding into Africa. There are tribes still in Africa now that believe and go by the Hebrew laws. And when Africa sold their people, that everyone has come to think that that's the way that it was. That is not what happened. Africa did not sell their people. They sold the people who were different than them. They sold the Hebrew Israelites that were hiding. The people that are here, the black people, the people of color that are here, that have been brought here from Africa, their ancestors brought here from Africa, are the Hebrew Israelites.
And she's 100% true to a certain extent, and those so-called Africans are called, that's the land of Ham. They're Hamites, the sons of Ham. And so we'll go to the receipts now. And to the evidence folder. And this one's an easy one because it's at the end. I always find that one very fast. But this is from the Zondervan Compact Dictionary Bible. And it tells you, and it says the same thing in even more detail in the Young's Dictionary Compact Bible. It says, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. So the Negroes were not Hamites. They weren't. So the curse of Ham, that it's a fraud. It's a lie. But the Ethiopians, the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites, and commercialized Christianity, plantation Christianity, Renaissance Christianity, they tried to make the Canaanites white people. All right, the Canaanites were these people. So the man from Shem was being sold by the men from Ham. That's what was happening during the slave trade. All right. And it wasn't just Africa that they fled to. They went into Europe and into Asia, into Eurasia, As a matter of fact, it wasn't even called Europe yet. It was still called Asia. Europe is another made-up social construct, something that they created. All right, they carved up Asia and called one part the Middle East, which is Western Asia, and they call one part Europe, which is also Northern Western Asia. And now I said that, I'm gonna provide you a receipt for anyone who might be new. And here's a definition from the 1850 Oxford Dictionary of Eurasian. All right. And it says, Asian, a sense, the compound Eurasia of pertaining to Eurasia, Europe, and Asia considered as forming in reality one continent. All right. Is one continent. So they created this whole Europe and Middle East to create these false racial constructs, okay, so that they could claim to be something that they're not. That's what it comes down to. And part of the social constructs that they created was something called black and white, all right, because prior to that, no one was really being called by that. And they even used laws to do these things and laws to keep Jake oppressed. This is Psalms 94 and 20, and it reads, Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? They gather themselves together against the souls of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. So, and they're still doing it to this day. All right, they still do it. They do it physically and they do it also in their courthouses, and they do it on paperwork within law. They write laws and use and write legislation, and medically they do all sorts of things to damage and hurt Jacob and people of color in general, right? But especially Jacob. Okay. Because why? Because Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, is evil. So I'm going to play this next set of videos. These were fire. Which one was first? This is part 2. So yeah, I want to get part 1 first. Okay. Oh, yeah, they even in order. Okay. All right. So let me put these up and let's listen to this old Edomite. All right. Because the Edomite woman is turning on the Edomite man. The curses are definitely upon them. And she's going to let you know that the problem in the world is Donald Trump, is Pete Hegseth, is so-called white man, these J-ish people. All right. Because they're the same people. The Edomite Christian and the Edomite, J-O-O, they're the same people. All right. Different tribes, just like. Okay.
I don't see any way around it. And let me apologize in advance to those white men who I am acquainted with and respect and love, but you've got to speak what's true. Pedophilia, victimizing of people who you have power over. In this case, the victimizing of children who you have power over. Has anyone noticed that in every arena, it is rich white men who dominate the field? We know Epstein, where it's so distressing that some of the richest men on the planet habitually sexually abused children. Essayed, I think I'm supposed to say, children. And they were tied together in secrecy, in keeping each other's secrets for decades.
Centuries.
They were tied together financially. I think it was, if you deal with me financially and you become independent or become intertwined, you're less likely to ever reveal anything about the things we've been doing in the dark.
Yeah.
The same sort of ethic is true in churches, the Catholic Church, which for beyond decades, century, kept the secrets of the white male priests who were essaying children.
Shifted them around.
The same is true in small pastorates, small churches, where the pastor has a lot of power.
Statistics show that when children are molested by their own fathers, it's usually so-called white males.
It doesn't just have to do with that. I mean, a lot of women, still support these people. Sure they do. As long as women are in any way financially dependent on men, they're going to go along with almost everything, and that's just the truth. The latest, and I saw this morning on TikTok, and it was so...
God damn it.
So this is a tough one to talk about.
Damn it started it over. Hold on.
So this is a tough one to talk about.
Salaki, I'm trying to fast forward it and I can't. Because this is like a copy of it. Well, I'm just going to have to let it play. So you've already seen it. I'm just going to put it down and let it play.
Let me apologize in advance to those white men who I am acquainted with and respect and love. But you've got to speak what's true. Pedophilia. Victimizing of people who you have power over. In this case, the victimizing of children who you have power over. Has anyone noticed that in every arena, it is rich white men who dominate the field? We know Epstein, where it's so distressing that some of the richest men on the planet habitually sexually abused children.
The fuck?
Essayed, I think I'm supposed to say, children. And they were tied together in secrecy, in keeping each other's secrets for decades. They were tied together financially. I think it was, if you deal with me financially and you become independent or become intertwined, you're less likely to ever reveal anything about the things we've been doing in the dark. The same sort of ethic is true in churches, the Catholic Church, which for beyond decades, century, kept the secrets of the white male priests who were essaying children. The same is true in small pastorates, small churches, where the pastor has a lot of power. Don't anybody say, oh, yes, but it doesn't just have to do with that. I mean, a lot of women, still support these people. Sure they do. As long as women are in any way financially dependent on men, they're going to go along with almost anything, and that's just the truth. The latest, and I saw this morning on TikTok, and it was so distressing. The whole latest thing about we're going to declare certain occupational fields as not professional fields.
Listen closely.
I've heard that and I thought, well, that's the dumbest thing. That has no point. What is the point of that? Well, the first thing I looked at was that, well, if you look at the fields, and I wrote them down. So,
God damn it.
So this is a
Oh, yeah, she wrote them down. So let's go to part 2 now. Let's go to part 2. Pulling it up, so Salakia.
That. Well, the first thing I looked at was that, well, if you look at the fields, and I wrote them down. It's like master's degree in education.
Let me pause it too for anyone who might ask. That's on TikTok by Kimberly Evans. Okay? That's how you're going to find that if anyone wants to go see it. Okay, so here we go.
CNA, which is a medical helper, physician's assistants, social workers, occupational therapists, physical therapists are no longer, and there's more, they're no longer, well, I thought they had one thing in common. They were the fields women were in. Now, what does it matter? It matters because if they are declared to be not professional fields, people cannot get financial aid to assist them in getting the education necessary to go into the field.
So your question would be why?
Got it? No financial assistance able for a master's degree in education or physical therapy or physician's assistant. And why does that matter? Reason one, these are fields dominated by women. These are ways women can become financially independent, can become able to support themselves and their families. But number two, I didn't even think about till I saw it this morning on TikTok. And Creator, forgive me, please, for not noting down your name. These fields, every one of them that I named, are mandated reporters of child abuse. You
Damn.
Get me? The white male federal government is saying, oh, they're not real fields anymore. Every one of them is mandated to report signs of child abuse. What to say? What to say?
God damn, these people are wicked.
Dumbest thing. That has no point. What is the point of that? Well, the first thing I looked at was that. Well,
yeah, that was heavy, man. Let's go to this. They don't want anyone to be in a position to tell on them so that they can continue to do the things that they do. That's what it comes down to. All right. And it also breaks the woman that they've elevated and puts the woman back in her place because Esau wants to make America so-called white. All right. When he speaks about America or Americans, everyone else is not included. And he wants to really make America white. Control. And when I mean America's always had other people, but all the other people didn't really have a voice. And that's what they wanted again. That's the way they want it. but it's not going to happen. So let's go back to the scriptures. This is Psalms 58. Uh, 6. And it reads, because the Lord is going to destroy them. And it says, break their teeth, O power, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Yahweh. Let them melt away as the waters which run continually, which bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows. Let them be cut into pieces. As a snail which melt away, let every one of them pass away, like an untimely birth of a woman, that may not see the sun. So the Lord is going to cut Esau, Edom off. He's going to break the teeth of this beast, of this murderous killer. All right, destroy his weapons. And he's just being exposed. Like you said, that Job 27:15, man, these Edomite women are wreaking havoc on their men at this point. And it's about time, because the so-called black woman has been annihilating, her man. She's the only one that spoke up against her man. Now the so-called white man is doing it. White woman is doing it. Curses are falling upon them now. And they're being exposed. This is Job 27:15. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. Even the so-called white woman is tired of the so-called white man collectively. You still got some of them that die hard stand by them. All right. But a lot of Edomite women ain't really messing with white guys, man. They're not feeling them. They're ashamed of them. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:4. And it says, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So this man, who's this man that painted himself up to be the Israelite, to be the Christian, to be the saint, to be the holy man, to be God himself. All right. He makes all these period pieces about the Bible, and he makes, all the Israelites and all, he makes people, he'll make people that was actually white, so-called white, dark, and then make people that were dark pale. All right. It says, 2 Thessalonians 2:5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And that ye may know what withholdeth, that he may be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. Esau Edom's about to be taken out of the way. He's been revealed. His skirt has been lifted. The curtain has been pulled back. They can see that the great and powerful Oz is not great and powerful at all. He's just a man pushing a bunch of buttons and pulling a bunch of levers. That's what Esau Edom is. Lying, saying that he's, a J-O-O, and he's not. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. All right. And that scripture is manifold, but the first way he's being destroyed with the Lord's mouth is through the prophets. All right. Then you can go to 2 Ezra 13 and read about when he comes back on that ship, and it says out of his mouth. Read that part. Okay. It ain't looking good for Esau Edom. Okay. This is Psalms 58 again, and read verse 10 and 11 and get ready to wrap it up. But Psalms 58:10, it says, the righteous shall rejoice when they see of the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked, so that a man shall say, verily, there is a reward for the righteous. Verily, he is a God that judgeth in the earth. And the bringing down of Esau Edom is going to be vengeance and great justice. And only Yahweh Shai can do it. All right. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash Kwam Yasarala Abad Babal.